Going to fare into this. As you can see, guys, we are just about ready to get underway in the pistol. The pauses came and gone. Hopefully it's all sorted now, but going to have both teams dipping in with a little bit of utility, with Wenton on the diffuse kit and the smoke, and obviously MSL, the leader, the brains behind the operation of Dignitas, who has himself the utility as well. But we've got 3 players already in Connector, and this is going to be a very close confrontation. It's going to be Olofmeister, who's very nearly going to get the first frag, but there he goes. He gets the 4th instead, and Dignitas has been completely gutted in this round, completely ripped to shreds, and it's all that man, the aforementioned leader of MSL, who has the Glock and a dream, really, up against 4 Swedes that you definitely don't want to be messing with, and it's going to be Dennis that gets the final hit. So, fantastic round by Fnatic, just pushing into Connector and getting complete control.
Yeah, I mean, that round really all came down to one battle, right? And that's just that big skirmish you saw inside the connector or the stairwell, whatever you like to call it. And it's very rare that you even see that big of a fight in the stairwell. So it's kind of crazy. That's like an uncommon type of round to watch, but it's definitely explosive, and a lot of fireworks. In fact, come out ahead 1-0. So we'll go ahead and see them start making their purchases. Dignitas with no bomb plan, of course. We'll go ahead and get the upgraded pistol and armor. Don't take too much of a penalty for trying this. It gives you a chance to win the round, as we do see them really just kind of leaving B alone and just moving all of their numbers in the stairs and parts. They seem to want to split this A bomb site. They don't really have any smokes, though, to cover anything, so they really just have to try to flash their way in and win some key fights.
Yeah, Dignitas could be coming right back into this, of course, with the force. They didn't get the bomb planted. There's no real reason for them to try and save for a rainy day, as it were. Wenton very nearly just catching a glimpse of the ankle of MSL through the smoke, but instead, not a great deal of information. Config will go for the boost, hopping up and down. Wenton intelligently backs on off, goes for the spray down onto short, but no frags will be forthcoming just yet. Dignitas have ate quite a bit of damage, though. Cajun B is around half HP. MSL gets picked off as I'm talking. Olofmeister comes in with a big frag as well. Dennis is there, and it's just a complete shutdown. 0 casualties so far for the CTs, and although Olof takes damage, he is up to the challenge himself, looking for a 3rd kill. It's actually going to be Dennis, as Config tries to run away. Team Dignitas reap no rewards from round 2.
There's really not much they could do there, right? I mean, the first frag Fnatic gets is the bomb dropped, and so there was little doubt where they were headed at that point. Fnatic able to get a pretty quick rotate. Dignitas never really been able to penetrate their way into that A-bomb site. So 2-0 start here for Fnatic, and of course Dignitas going to be pretty much on a full save now at this point. In fact, I didn't see them buy a single thing. It's literally just all Glocks, no even P250s put into this, so definitely making sure they save as much as possible. So, I mean, this round should be over in just a moment.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be charging into B as well. Best case scenario really is maybe a kill in the bomb plant, but it should be an absolute bloodbath. And Magic Point does go in with the Glock, lands the headshot. Here comes the bomb plant. It will go down. Twist in the meanwhile is going to try and do some damage. So I've got to say, you know, bomb plant and 2 frags, and maybe a 3rd of Cajun B can put this Glock to use, is a pretty solid mission accomplished by Dignitas. I mean, there's not much else they can hope for.
$0 invested, that's like a sick round for them, right? I mean, they get all the plant money and they force 2 rebuys on Fnatic. That's like way more than I thought they'd be able to get with just Glock. So that's a pretty decent round out of them. Now they'll be able to get their full buy going. We see AKs and utility across the board. Looks like we're not going to see an op out of Cajun B this round, who has kind of taken over that role nowadays. MSL used to do it a little bit back on all their lineups, but now it seems like Cajun B, since he's been on the team, he's kind of really taken over that role for the most part. And so we will see them open up pretty B heavy this round. Everyone seems to be heading B, so maybe just trying to do some type of fast, explosive hit. Maybe try to catch Fnatic off guard with something fast early.
Now, issues with the sound, guys. Try refreshing the stream. It should fix any problems. It is a known issue with Twitch. So go for that, unless I'm being trolled, in which case, GG, you got me. But either way, again, it's going to be the fast play over on the B site. Cajun B, alongside MSL, leading the charge, but actually the first casualty goes the way of Fnatic. They have answered back of Dignitas, but in amongst the smoke, the bomb will get planted. Twist now close range, and as we trying to use that M4 to his utmost effect. He gets flashbang, but lands the frag just beforehand, so a solid trade out for Fnatic once again. And although bomb plant going down, this is a rifle round. This isn't a throwaway round now for Dignitas, and Dennis from the side will get the better of Magisk, and that's going to put so much pressure now on the shoulders of Rubino and Config, who are desperately trying to relocate their arsenal of weaponry. The boost up on the sandbags is good for a frag, but it's going to be easily found out by Fnatic, and there is Dennis. He's going to put down the hammer for the 2nd frag, and the bomb's been defused in amongst all the chaos. There was a smoke in the face of Rubino, couldn't see a single thing, and Fnatic take a quick fire 4-0, but that bomb plant will afford another buy, Dust, for Dignitas.
Certainly. I mean, again, it's just a little bit different look from Dignitas. I'm so used to them just opening default and playing it really slow. That's kind of their main style, but they open up with something fast and they get a good execute, but just a big retake from Fnatic, particularly Dennis's flank on Monster really was a big factor in that round, and you are going to see Dignitas, you know, buy up almost similarly to what they had last round, and they're really just going to do the exact same thing. Rubino will get control of short, everyone else looking to pipe out Monster, and they're not going to have any hesitation here. They're just going for the fast execute once more into that B-bomb site.
Yeah, as you say, it's almost a carbon copy of the last round, but this time Fnatic in very solid positions. A smoke should afford them a bomb plant, as Fnatic can't see anything, but it's unlikely that we're going to see Dignitas be able to hold on to this. The retake is already in motion. And Fnatic are barreling down the frags. That's a beautiful pop flash, though. Lands in the face of Wenton, who can't see a single thing. It's picked off by Config, so now this round is back on. It's a 2-on-2. Rubino has a smoke, and that's the only utility they have between the two of them. An incendiary, a smoke, actually a couple of smokes and a flash in the hands of Fnatic that is quickly being dispersed. Up, but there comes Config with the one frag, and a second he crab walks his way to success, and Dignitas finally on the board. And then around us, I honestly thought they had no chance in.
No, it didn't look good at all. I mean, when they got out the execute, Fnatic was hitting some nice shots to really slow them down. They had a man advantage there for a moment, but then Config, and I think Rubino even a little bit there chimed in, really brought that back into the 2v2 that Config closed out, and so you have one of the heavy hitters for Dignitas. It's kind of what I kind of visualize it as being like Config and Matchday, like your two main riflers, and then Cage and B kind of being the other guy to keep an eye on. So the fact that Config comes up with a big play just wins Dignitas the round. And so you do still see a pretty light buy from Dignitas, though, despite the victory. Matchday resorted to just being on a Galil. Meanwhile, you have a double hop setup coming out into effect here for Fnatic. Olaf will have his over towards the A-bomb site. Dennis having one just kind of floating back and forth between the two sites. And now you do see Dignitas opening up with their slower default, right? This is pretty much what you'll see most rounds. Matchday taking over in the stairs. Rubino outside B as he's always been. And then you have your main control group here just trying to work their way over towards the bathrooms. Or I guess washrooms. This is a European stream. What am I doing? This is the washrooms, right?
They both work, man. They
Bloody
both
American.
Typical NA caster, mate. And whatever you want to call it, it has been occupied by Dignitas, and they are looking to make the most of this position. And again, the flashbang is ridiculous, but Overpass lands the shot. What is happening?
I don't know how we even got one frag out of that. That's actually pretty cool stuff, but it's still an even trade for Dignitas. So we're going to feel pretty good about this. And Dennis gets caught with that second op. So now both ops for Fnatic are down, and Dignitas have the man advantage. They still have control of stairs. They still have Rubino occupying outside the B-bomb site. So they still have so many options left open to them, but they are running out of time. So they do need to make a decision fast here on where they want to close this round off at.
You got to say, Dignitas are looking pretty in this round at least, and with the economy pretty solid. Sorry, anything but solid, I should say, on the side of Fnatic. If they were to lose this round, they are eyeing up a very possible eco. Another couple frags remain intact for Dignitas as they still have the player advantage. Bomb plant with about 7 seconds to go. Better late than never. Lekro has landed the headshots. It's going to keep this round interesting, but positionally, Dignitas are in such a good spot. Lekro will get the trade, and the frag goes his way. Now it's all on Cage and B, who has an AWP to play with, but no utility at all. Lekro, though, himself has no utility, so it's going to come down to the shot, and Cage and lands it, and clutches the round out of the jaws of defeat. Dignitas will take a second, and Fnatic's economy now, well, it's ruins. Pause coming in. I assume this is a technical pause. It'd be a bit early for a tactical one.
Yeah, I would assume so. And I mean, Fnatic already going to be suffering economically from the fact that they are on only a 2-round loss bonus, but also they invested in double ops, so a lot more pricey type of, you know, set to use for the round really is going to hurt them here in this one. So there should be a save out of Fnatic, and Dignitas should be able to start working towards that tie game. Lekro gave Fnatic a chance in that round. Started to look a little bit like he had something going, but Dignitas able to close it out in the end. And so they're really just showing some diversity on the Dignitas side and their T side thus far. Again, I'm so used to seeing them open with almost the same default every round, but they opened up with some fast B stuff. They got a round out of that. They moved back into their typical holding pattern, and then they, you know, get some good picks at the A side and are able to work a B execute off of it. So definitely they seem to be waking up. I mean, after a slow start where Fnatic jumped off to a 4-0 lead, they are now right back in this one.
Oh, absolutely. You know, even after this round, Fnatic aren't going to have a fantastic buy. They will be able to get one with 2 rounds of round loss bonus coming in. There will be a third, of course, if, as we assume, Dignitas take this round and make it theirs. But Config's read the situation perfectly. He has the Mac 10 alongside his 8 frags. It's Dennis really on Fnatic that's been pulling out in the lead, 10 and 2. Twist 8 and 5 with 2 assists, not too shabby. And this, as you said, is Dignitas' chance now to close the gap, to pull their way back into this one. Cage is to be throwing in the flashbang, waiting for any pesky Fnatic players to play super aggressive. But it's actually just Lekro by himself with the Deagle in hand on the B site. And he's been found out and sprayed up through the wall. So he's probably not long for this world. The bulk of the CT aggression has came in bathroom, and this is going to be the freest of plants for Dignitas. So this round should be very convincingly going their way as expected.
Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of gambling a stack over towards the washrooms with pistols. And I mean, why not? You kind of have to do something like that to even have any hope of winning around when you're just on basic pistols like this. But unfortunately for Fnatic, Dignitas kind of diverted away from that and take a B-bomb site for free for the most part. And now they have it at 3-4, still in Fnatic's favor. And Fnatic will be back onto a full buy, but no ops will be in play this time. And so let's see how the Dignitas wants to run this. We actually do have MSL trying to be a bit conservative with the cash flow and actually holding on to an up. So a little bit lacking for firepower in his own right, trying to see if he can't, you know, maybe save up some money for a rainy day. And they will open up in just their default pattern.
Yeah, I think they also realize that Fnatic, if they do go for more grenades, they are going to be lacking a couple of head armors. In actual fact, the only player with head armor is Olofmeister, so that UMP, if it lands the headshots, it's going to still be very potent and dangerous in the hands of MSL. This does allow him to play aggressive as well and go in first. Maybe it's the most expendable weapon. And as you said, it's a full buy, but it's lacking grenades, it's lacking an AWP, and it's lacking defuse kits. And Dignitas have been able to get on the sides. Absolutely. So, you know, Fnatic are going to have to lay down some serious firepower and get the frags going their way. Otherwise, this could slip away as well. Then Fnatic will be into another eco, you'd assume.
I think that's why you're seeing them play triple washrooms. Like, they want to win fights early because they know that late rounds are going to be tough on retakes whenever they don't have any hits in play. So they're really trying to take the initiative here and try to win some battles early. As you do see Olofmeister peeking out with that M4. He does find config on the top of the stairs. And look at Dennis getting sneaky at long. Will he pick up on Cajun B? Yes, he will. Cajun not ready for that. And the bomb is down.
Absolutely, and an AWP's been picked up as well, just to add to the woes. MSL's traded out his UMP for an AK and lands the headshot onto Olofmeister, but could just be a drop in the ocean as Wenton goes for the spray. Does negligible damage, just about 20 or so, but that's the frag finished off. Dennis will lay it out with the AWP. MSL in the meanwhile going to be landing the headshot onto Rock, so MSL's done his part this round. He's going to be looking for Rubino to pull off some miracles. Rubino is a player that's capable of going monumental when it counts, but he's been found out in Connector. MSL comes in for his third frag. This would be one hell of an ace if he can clutch this now. And with 10 seconds, all Lekro really has to do is just wait. The chances of MSL checking behind these boxes is so low. And there we go, the nightmare has become a reality. Fnatic take the round, losing 3 players. Their economy still isn't great, but a much needed round goes their way.
Yeah, it's just the forward presence of Fnatic on that A side of the map really came up big. Particularly, Dennis' push through long to pick up Cajun B was a big frag to catch, all off, of course, closing off the stairwell as well. So really well done by Fnatic to win a big round because, again, we were talking, their economy was really, you know, kind of out of shape, and so being able to win a round like that certainly helps. Though you can see even here, a couple of rebuys really cost them a lot, so Dignitas can really still put the pressure on them if they're able to get the reset here and put Fnatic in just dire straits economically. But this round's probably a 2-for-1 deal for either team, right? I mean, the money on Dignitas also not looking so hot as they do open default once more. And they really try to put some focus on long A this time, really just trying to press up. So we may see something a little bit faster.
Yeah, it looks like the Rubino's watching the flank for any CTs that try and get some information for themselves, but there is a fairly standard formation starting up for Dignitas. Connector just looking outside of bathrooms. It's MSL. He's going to be trying to spam his way. Very nearly lands the headshot onto Wenton. Actually did do a little bit of damage. And as you say, with so much in the balance, Fnatic playing fairly aggressively. They've already went through the bulk of their grenades, and Wenton goes walkies and he gets punished. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the head of Olofmeister, but he has a very capable M4 at his disposal. Boy could end up getting picked off. Olofmeister turns around, gets completely timed, but to be fair, the noose is being tightened anyway from 2 different angles. Wasn't looking good, and now Fnatic only have Twist. And he's just going to be chilling out, hoping for the best, but really no hope for him to get more than maybe an exit frag.
Yeah, it's really about the best you can hope for now. Fnatic's economy has just been ravaged. I mean, they might even be in double save territory at this point. So Dignitas definitely looking to probably tie this game up, and they could even take a lead out of all this. I mean, that was just Dignitas just pulling Rubino off B early, going for just a fast A split, and they caught some aggression, right? Someone from that Fnatic pushed mid really early on in that round. I can't remember who that was, but that's a big kill to get when you just get an instant 5-on-4 and you were already planning on fast attacking A anyway. It just kind of speeds up the process and even lightens up the defense a bit more where you're trying to focus at. So, I mean, it couldn't have gone better for Dignitas is basically the point. And yeah, they're definitely on the verge of tying this thing up.
Smart plays by Twist as well, realizing that he could salvage the AK with the rest of the terrorists having to back on off, as their economy is not great. So he does at least get an AK out of this round. But the problem is that the rest of his team are effectively playing with nothing. And there was maybe a decision for a second there to maybe force behind the AK is maybe a double eco's on the horizon. It's kind of hard to call. With that save weapon, though, this could definitely bolster their economy a little bit going through into round 11. As you said, effectively a 2-for-1 round, and now it's going to be interesting to see if Twist with his AK can get the work done. 4-player stack on B with Twist rocking out the AK in connector. They're going to be walking into his crosshairs, but the double stack is just too painful to deal with. Dignitas do claim first blood in this round.
Yeah, we see Fnatic hanging out at the pool, it seems like, over here at the B-bomb site. You know, just having a nice summer day. Trying to enjoy the last bit that's left before winter strikes. Really nasty pool, though. Don't want to be in there, probably.
It's pretty
It's a
scummy
lot of
water,
trash
isn't
just
it?
floating around. Yeah, it's a little bit rough.
I feel like you catch something, almost definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no, not gonna go there. Never mind.
I kind of know where you want it to go.
Yeah. Let's just leave it as it is. I'm sure chat will have their fun with that, as we do see Fnatic actually rotating correctly all their members to A. Maybe if they just hide out here and just kind of swarm together, there's actually still some hope they could cause some havoc, but you'd like to think that Dignitas has this in the bag.
Oh yeah. 4 USBs. Really, no hope. And they have at least got a couple of frags, so doing the damage, but Config, beautiful spray transfer, double headshots into Dennis and Lekro. And a great call, I gotta say. You know, Fnatic didn't get a great deal out of that round, but to call the A hit was imminent is pretty sick reading. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep up with that. So they are going to get the buy. I was curious what would happen in this round, but the buy does come in. But again, we've been here before. Dust, no kits, no up, and a lack of nades across the board. So still quite precarious for the Swedes.
Absolutely low utility, and then Lekro on an ump, so not even having the firepower you want. And I think that Dignitas realizes it. That's why they want to put the pressure on B fast. They know there's really no incendiaries and such to hold them from pushing out Monster. But unfortunately for them, Dennis, he's been able to catch a kill from the window. He got the bomb down pretty early. It's giving so much time for Fnatic to rotate, and Lekro is putting the damage in with that ump. He's already got 2 kills, and Dennis pops off another headshot. And this has been absolutely crushed by Fnatic.
Absolutely has. You could see that from the movement, Dignitas may have thought that the second eco was coming in, or some kind of a half buy, or just not a great buy, as I said, without incendiaries, and as a result, maybe got a bit too cocky, a bit too aggressive. And that first pick actually dropped the bomb in pit, so it was a horrendous chain of events for Dignitas, and Fnatic, all credit to them. They've put the bullets down range, and they've landed headshots aplenty. 2 frags for Dennis, 2 for Lekro.
Right.
But this boy on the T side is gonna have to hope for the best, really. Look where the bomb is, Dust.
Right. Yeah, I mean, one smoke could have drastically changed that round. If Dignitas would have smoked off window or something like that, it could have made things so much different. Dennis being able to just have free reign with an M4 and just winning 2 kind of one-on-one gun duels really was how that round went in Fnatic's favor. I mean, you could tell that Dignitas had like a good mindset about it, realizing limited utility and such on Fnatic would mean that a quick attack could net good results, but they just couldn't get past Dennis's M4, and even Lekro, despite the fact he was just on an up, was able to do tons of damage. You know, that's 2 kills for himself, so really well defended here by Fnatic, and they will actually hold Dignitas off from taking the lead. And now Dignitas' money has actually been reset a little bit here, and so they can still make a buy, but it is going to be severely limited in comparison to what they were working with in the past.
And so much of this is resting on Dennis's shoulders. You know, his team are winning by a round. He's 17-6. He has just gone massive, and then Config on the Dignitas side of things is also carrying his team pretty hard. He's triple the frags of anyone else on his team at 15-8. No one else has more kills than deaths. So if Dignitas want to keep this up, someone else is going to have to step up to the plate, maybe over on the CT side. That can become a reality. Rubino eats a grenade to the face, and that's going to be 42 health disappearing. And it's going to be another B hit from Dignitas. They've definitely preferred this side of the map. Flashbang will be landing over as the AKs and the Galil go in. The bomb has been dropped, but the return frag comes in from Cajun B, so he can reclaim what was lost. And now 4 on 4. And with the smokes down, this bomb should be getting planted in the next few moments.
And you can see Config putting it down behind the sandbags right now. Fnatic posturing up for the retake. They have one that's going to try to flank from short. Then they have one window and two coming towards Graffiti. Dignitas have pretty decent holding positions. We have a boost coming into play, but Ancient Beat reads that like a book. That's going to help Dignitas in the hold now.
Yeah, big pick. Taking a lot of the power away, but Dennis will get the upper hand in that trade as Majestic Boy just looked away at the wrong second. The grenades landing in towards Graffiti, and the frags go in the way of Dignitas, and Olofmeister realizes, almost knifing the ground in frustration, this round is going to be slipping away. No hope for a defuse. Bomb's going to explode in the next few moments anyway. So Olofmeister's going to save his 5k of equipment value. Pretty big save at that. Fnatic, they could go for a buy, but it's again going to be in a similar position to what we saw a couple rounds ago. So it's not looking good. It's just back and forth between these two teams. We haven't really seen any team pull away over the last few rounds. Just back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, no one really streaked together more than 2 rounds in the last, what, 5 or so rounds played. So definitely has started to get a little bit scrappy here in the middle of the half as both teams are trying to fight to take the lead. And yeah, as you noted, Dignitas really were favoring that B hit. I haven't seen them run just fast B hits that often in a single half of T-side. I'm so used to more of what we're seeing now. Just happening almost every round. So definitely a little bit of a change of pace from Dignitas. I like it, adding some diversity to their play, keeping Fnatic guessing. And that's definitely one of Dignitas' advantages, I think, is the tactics that MSL is able to put into place. And he's slowly been adding more firepower to the team as firepower kind of departed. He's been trying to fill in more. And I think Matchday was kind of a big pickup in that regard. But look at this Dennis again with this long A push comes up with something. That's twice now he's done that.
Yeah, 2 frags and did a lot of damage to MSL too, so he's done more than his fair share. Nearly... Well, actually he did. He just hit his 20 bomb already. Which is pretty
sick
going. Yeah, absolutely sick.
Especially considering this game might be a longer one, the way it's played out so far. He could definitely put up big numbers before it's over with.
We'll be curious to see how he does when the roles are reversed on the T side. But there's no doubting that he has done so much work on the CT side so far. Olofmeister lands the frag, and there's the touchdown from long range, courtesy of Twist. Rubino will hold off Monster. This clutch is actually doable now. Incendiary comes his way. It's going to give him some information as to where one of the 2 CTs is. And he's assumed the second one is in water, which is correct, but Wenton puts down the hammer with the FAMAS. And the round will go the way of Fnatic. But Dignitas again, no huge surprises going on the B side. And I've got to say, a lot of that comes down to Dennis. 2 frags, and I think he did 80 damage to MSL. So effectively wiping out half the team, Dignitas.
So really well done again. Dennis making another big play out of long age. Just completely changes it around. That's 2 rounds that he's been a big factor in at least, but you can really just see the numbers there. It's so top heavy. Really on both teams it's quite top heavy. Just unfortunately for Dignitas, the carry for Fnatic is playing a little bit better. And he's been able to have a little bit more of an impact right as we do see Dignitas again going for this quick B setup, it seems like. Rubino just trying to get control of short. Everyone else wants. They've been doing these 1-4 splits on B. This will be the 4th time this game they've done this, maybe even the 5th time. I haven't been keeping count exactly, but they definitely have a bias towards this side.
Oh, absolutely. It's undeniable at this point. They've hit it so many times, and you can see that Fnatic playing 3 players on the site, not someone in heaven, but actually on the site itself, have called this. Maybe the predictability of these B hits is coming in. So the execute comes in, but it's going to be Twist that holds down the M4, and the flashbangs are on point too. The pop flash lands in the eyes of Config. Down he goes. Rubino will at least get 1 frag for his troubles, but he's burning alive. Down to 44 he falls. Another incendiary by his feet forces him out into the open, and that's going to cost him his life. And now the UMP, all that remains against 4 Fnatic members, and there's still a lot of time to play with, but the bomb again dropped outside of Monster. This is almost hopeless for Dignitas.
And there's really not much Magic Boy can do at this point. He's already been spotted as well by Twist here on short, and Winton will also be there. And so he will be the one to finish off the round. So 8-6 now in favor of Fnatic. And it's one of those things where CT sides on this map, you're always going to play at least 2 in each site. And you have this one guy who will float back and forth, or you'll use him for triple stack plays, whether you want to get triple washrooms or, push washrooms and long A at the same time. Or you can see triple B stacks like that one. And as often as Dignitas have executed B, definitely no surprise that Fnatic decided to cheat their third player on B that round, and it just absolutely crushed the attack of Dignitas. And now look at this, you're going to the last round of the half, and all you have to work with are Deagles and Tech-9s. So it seems like after kind of a scrappy fight here towards the middle of the half, it looks like Fnatic will be in great shape to kind of take the lead out of all this, or a big lead, I should say.
You'd certainly think that this round should be theirs. It's going to be an A play this time around. Cajun B the first to fall, the first casualty of war, as the deadlock has been lifted. MSL think we can get done with the tech. Oh, that's actually a headshot through the smoke on Olofmeister. Did spot him just before. But there's Dennis with a quick snapshot onto Magic's boy. So suddenly Dignitas in another clutch scenario. Dennis getting tagged but not fragged. So he will be able to relocate, live to fight another day up on long.
So nice little catchphrase, tagged but not fragged. I like that. There you go. Good job, Menace. Thanks,
mate. And now Rubino is the last man alive. He does have the bomb, so it's a bit of a saving grace, but yeah, it's... I'm trying to look at the positives here, Dust. There's not many of them.
Nah, not. Isn't it like tagged and bagged or something like that? Or bagged and tagged? You know that expression?
Tagged and bagged, yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, you're going a little spin on it. I like it. See 30 seconds left on the clock. Config trying to see if he can make a miracle happen. Kiyoshima did one of these yesterday. Can Config be the hero now?
That's true.
He has a 1v1 with Lekro at B, so he might get a plant and a 1v2 out of this, actually.
That's very, very much the case. So it could be a plant, but again, it's the last round. It's not going to be so important. Nice shot onto Wenton, but it is that man that you highlighted, Lekro, on the B site that gets the job done. So Fnatic, they do pull away at the end. It was neck and neck. I think at one point it was 6-6, if memory serves me correctly, and then Fnatic just opened up a bit of a spree. 96 is it's definitely a solid half on the CT side. Both teams, I think, will be relatively happy with this. It's still up in the air. Dignitas win the pistol. They're in a really solid position on the CT side.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, this is one of those things where Fnatic does have a lead going into this, and they do have the opportunity to double it if they can win pistol, but Dignitas have opportunity to tie it right back up. So, and now they're on the more favored side of the CT side. So yeah, it's definitely a pretty hotly contested game. And again, the key evidence of that is how that half really played out. Fnatic, I think they won 4 in a row, but then Dignitas answered with 2 in a row, and then it just kind of goes back and forth for a while before Fnatic finally kind of closes out maybe the last 4 or so rounds for themselves at the very end. So definitely a pretty cool half to watch, especially since I just feel like I saw a different Dignitas there than what I'm used to seeing with how they were calling the game. Like the shot calling that was taking place is just a little bit out of character, which is cool. Maybe they're just trying to practice, like try to throw in something new into their playbook or just try to be harder to read. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fun half to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It could also come down to the fact that, Fnatic, there isn't a lot of footage out there of them on Overpass in recent memory, so maybe assuming that Fnatic's CT side wasn't too great and just trying to barrel down on B and try and get rid of any of those weaknesses. It did get a bit predictable towards the end. You saw Fnatic, as we mentioned at the time, stacking 3 players on the B site with crossfires, and Dignitas effectively just walking into that trap, so maybe a little bit predictable, but I do like it. I do like a team that spices it up and tries to go into B a lot and, mix it up with a few A hits. The problem is, though, Dignitas, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Dust, by all means, but I feel like they only hit A maybe once or twice with rifles. By and large, it was when they were on pistols that we saw them go for it.
Yeah, sorry about that. As I'll be curious to see how the rest of this map actually plays out, because I mean, Fnatic, again, this is their first time playing Overpass with this 5, so as you were kind of noting, maybe not, easy to read what they're going to do. And now that they're on the T side, this is where you're going to see much more diversity, right? I mean, on the CT side, there's usually kind of a common way to play it that most teams will. Of course, you'll throw in like the occasional stairs push or the occasional push at A or B or something like that. But for the most part, you have, pretty common setups that teams will use. Whereas on the T side, things can be drastically different. Even different teams' defaults look different. So I'll be curious to see what Fnatic will do, because again, they have that legacy with the line they were using right before this one that had Dennis and Crims and JW playing with Olaf and Flusha, of just being really explosive, really fast paced. But again, on some of the other maps I've seen Fnatic play lately, they've been a lot more methodical in how they do things. And I don't know if that's because like Wenton's calling for them now, and that's just the type of style of shot caller that he is. So I'm curious to see if we'll see a lot of that here on Overpass, or if we'll see kind of the old identity emerge.
Yeah, I want to see how they approach T-side for sure, because I think CT side is a bit more forgiving, especially... Like, again, I'm pretty sure Fnatic have been practicing this map. I can't see them just completely giving this up and just not bothering with the new players that have joined the roster. But I think on T-side, we're really going to see how the tactical strategic play comes to fruition. Again, Dennis was the key man. He was 21 frags after the first half. The guy has been playing like an absolute monster. But is he going to be able to replicate that form on the T side when he can't play as static and just effectively be the turret that wrecks everybody? It's going to be Dennis, the man in question, who goes out first, and he's the first to fall. By himself with Lekro, they're trying to sell this fake, but because they've both died, now Dignitas can move through Connector. And realizing no one else is forthcoming, they've caught this perfectly. This is really rough for Fnatic now. It's going to have to come down to the Glock headshots, you've got to feel. And it's going to be a total wreckage, a wipeout with the USPs. Not a single Dignitas member falls. And we have reached that position that we were talking about. Dignitas pick up the second pistol. They're right back into this.
Yeah, I mean, they just got out-called there. It's like one of those things... In StarCraft, they used to call it a build order loss, where like just the way that a team would pick a certain, the way a player would pick a certain build to do, like you would just automatically lose before you even like played the game, just because they were doing something just that drastically countered you, just a hard counter. And Dignitas, before Dennis even prodded into B, they were already planning to do a 2-2 push on B, and so then they just clear up both those kills, and then Magic Boy gets to flank stairs, and they get a fast rotate to A before Fnatic can even get there. So Fnatic was literally always going to lose that round unless they just won some insane gunfights or something like that. Just the way Dignitas called that round on what Fnatic did, it just perfectly countered it.
Yeah, you could see what Fnatic were going for, but as soon as those two players died over on the B side, which is Dennis and Lekro, I believe, I mean, the strat was completely in tatters, like totally ruined. Now Fnatic playing extremely passive to start off the round, and Dignitas with the superior weapons have no reason to push in here. They do lack grenades, but they've gone for firepower instead. 3 UMPs with a couple of M4s. And it will be a case of Fnatic with their Tech 9s and Deagles going to try and make something out of nothing. Grenade only does 2 damage. Thought could chunk down Dennis quite a bit, but he's standing tall in bathrooms for now. And only the one smoke to play with here, Dust. So it looks like Lekro's going to be throwing that over towards the...
Ooh, that helps.
Bins. That definitely helps. So 1 Deag is never...
Like the Captain Obvious analysis right there.
It sure does. Cajun B with WMP though, and this is the issue. Yes, you get the 1 tap, but is that going to be enough for the crossfire? And the answer is a resounding no. Not unless Twist can clutch this 1v4 with 38 health. Surely he's a dead man in the next few moments, especially as Config is moving up round the back, and one of the aforementioned M4s is going to go to work. They pick up the second M4, so Dignitas hold firm.
There was a brief moment where you thought Fnatic might have had something as Vinton opens up with a nice Deagle pick, but then the SMGs of Dignitas fire off with a resounding not going to happen, basically, on that A bomb site. And so you are going to see it 8-9, so Dignitas are well on their way to tying this thing up. They've kind of won out that battle, so to speak, as we are going to see just really Glocks from Fnatic, except for 1 P250 on Vinton here. And again, they're just opening up, you know, pretty spread out, not committing to any type of quick execute right away, which is kind of surprising. I figured they would just rush and get this round over with since they're literally on 4 Glocks.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit strange that they play this one, you know, fairly standard with Glocks and the P250. Typically, teams will just go for broke. We saw Dignitas do this when...
Yeah, you're not going to get any picks with those, you know?
Oh, absolutely not. Not unless something goes horribly wrong for Dignitas.
Right.
If someone hasn't upgraded to
there
head
was
armor.
This cheeky thing that Olaf's trying to do at Monster right now, where he's just kind of surfed up into the corner and he's just waiting for someone to push Monster. He almost used Twist as bait to pull Dignitas through the tunnel, but they never actually went. Now Lekro's trying to do it, trying to see if he can pull them through. Now Olaf realizes they're not going to push, tries to just go in and config shuts them down. So there was something they were trying to do that was a little bit crazy. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, you can see what they were going for, but again, it's just a Glock, so even if Olaf Meister does get the drop on somebody, I mean, it would be a bit of a fail for Dignitas not to pick him up at close range. But I mean, at least they tried something, right? We were wondering what the call was. Dignitas have converted the subsequent rounds after the pistol, so we are all back to even. But this is going to be the first test in the rifle round, with Fnatic having full AKs and a healthy dosage of grenades, 5 smokes, a Molotov, plenty of flashbangs. So this is where we see what Fnatic are made of on their T side.
Again, I'm really curious to see what type of style we'll see Fnatic play. It just seems kind of odd that even on their ecos, they were playing it very slow. So yeah, they are going to open up just default twist outside B, Lekr on the stairs, and then 3 just kind of slowly working towards Fountain. But look at Magic's Boy and KJB. They're definitely forcing the issue here, but Magic's Boy, he's been picked off by Vinton. And so that's going to definitely hurt Dignitas. KJB forces to fall back in the A site with the op and give up a lot of real estate to Fnatic that they'll now get for free. And now Dignitas just has to hope they can hold 2 in each site and play passive and win fights. And so this gives Fnatic a lot of room to work with. But look at how hesitant they are to take it. I think maybe they're still kind of wondering if KJB's keeping a presence with that op up close. So they're definitely being cautious about this. And again, this is kind of that new style of Fnatic I was talking about that I've been seeing on a lot of their games. Just a lot more patient and methodical about how they work things.
Oh, absolutely. You can understand why they're playing this passively as well, with so much time left on the board.
Right.
There's no reason to necessarily just try and charge in all guns blazing, because that's where the CT's positions could definitely work against the terrorists.
That is very true. It's just, you know, think of the old Fnatic, right? They'd pounce on something like that, I feel like.
Maybe a work in progress, you know, just trying to get all the pieces together in the right order. But KJB's AWP, as you highlighted before, still a big power play for Dignitas. 30 seconds as well should be mentioned that time is getting scarce. So Fnatic will feel the pinch and will feel like they have to make a move right here, right now. Missile, meanwhile, on Bathroom side, he's going to put down with the UMP, but it's Rubino on the close range double spray down. The bomb is dropped. Rubino single-handedly taking this round away from Fnatic. 15 seconds. The Swedes have got to push in. There's no time to waste now. And Rubino's playing this one to perfection. Backs away. Effectively says, come out of this bros, and now Config round the back should get the double spray down. Very nice round for Dignitas, especially considering they lost Magic's Boy right at the start of that round.
It's crazy to think that I just watched a round from Fnatic of all teams that actually won the round because lost the round because they ran out of time. Can you just imagine that for a moment? Just think about that for a second. That's like a Navi type of thing to do, or like a classic Navi type of thing to do, and it's Fnatic. That's crazy.
Just goes
Just one little disruption got in their way there, and that smoke MSL caused so many problems.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they wanted to hit A from 2, well, actually 3 angles, Bathroom, short, and long. And as soon as MSL gets the frag, that definitely throws a spanner in the works. Now Fnatic onto Deagles. And some Kevlar, just equalizing the economy. They'll have a fight next round. Magic's Boy in the shadows of Bathroom. Double frag for him. Always on the prowl. And, well, Fnatic's chances dwindling in the blink of an eye. So Dignitas have been flawless so far on the CT side. 4 rounds played, 4 rounds won. Looks like it is going to be a 5th, unless something horribly goes wrong. That's not looking likely, is it, Dust? Dennis has picked up 1 frag. That's his first kill on the second half. We were curious to see how he would do when the roles were reversed, coming through onto the T side. But not really an impact frag, I think it's safe to say. 50 seconds left, and the CT's burying into position. Oh, Dennis has landed another 1-tap, and now it's just MSL on the site by himself. He's got picked off. Dennis has landed 3 headshots in this round. A round that I didn't think was going anywhere. Dignitas facing 1 by 1, and they get punished. Dennis has been sprayed down. And here comes Twist. He had no Kevlar, was getting wrecked by the aim punch. And Dignitas hold on, but man, that was way closer than it should have ever been for the Danes.
Yeah, Dennis is on fire right now. He's definitely trying to find ways to put his team ahead. I mean, look at just how far ahead he is on everyone on his team, with the exception maybe Twist, who's kind of lingering right behind, but he's like triple the frags of some of the other players on this team.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
Very top heavy over there, that's for sure. It's kind of similar with Dignitas, right? You really have config, you know, even, you know, the highest fragger on the server with 26, and he's more than double MSL, who's right behind him, and double Rubino. So definitely a very top heavy game for both sides.
Ooh, MSL gets smashed through the smoke. They weren't expecting the push. MSL, who is very low, still looking in towards short. They go for the pop flash, but Twist is already out of dodge. And you highlighted before that MSL's, you know, joint second on frags. That's not necessarily something you see too often. I mean, no disrespect to MSL, but he's not the kind of guy on the team that you're expecting to be towards the top. Dust with the cement fingers on his keyboard.
Oh, you can hear that.
Sounds sexy.
I'm so sorry. That won't happen again. I'm so sorry.
I was so confused at first. I was like, they put keyboard sounds in the game? Valve, what are you doing? Then I realised Dust is here.
Yeah, that won't happen again. Production value top notch, of course, over here at the SLB stream. Brought to you by Dust, of course, and A-Casters, of course. Chat spam.
Oh, it's alright.
Yeah,
Fnatic have lost the first player, though.
Reddit thread on the front page, of course. Dust Brett, worst caster in the world. Keyboard sounds better than his voice. There you go. Alright. I'm done with the self-smashing. Let's get back into this round here. Electro could open up on the washrooms with Magic's voice, so definitely looking to try to take some presence at the same time. So you can do play-by-play now, Menace.
I'm laughing too much.
No, you got this.
Okay, Overpass did actually tag up Twist, and there may not be too much to talk about. Actually, maybe there is. Dennis with double frag, continuing to just put down the pain. But he desperately needs a partner to be teeing off with. Olofmeister's barrel betrays him. And with 7 seconds left in the round, Rubino will claim the frag. So at least Olofmeister didn't die after time, but their economy is not great anyway.
So Dignitas are starting to steam out ahead here. They've actually won every round this half. That's something that we could definitely draw something to, I think, that's pretty big, is the fact that Fnatic have yet to be able to find any success here on this terror side. And some of it has been, you know, losing because the clock has run out. Some of it has just been really aggressive plays from Dignitas, like that MSL push on short B, for example, where they just, and now it's this Magic Void is pushing Fountain, just running it through Fnatic's throat before they can even get set up. I mean, it's crazy to think Fnatic are just getting shut down before they can even develop whatever tactic there is that they want to run.
Yeah, and we said this at half time, you know, in the warm-up, that, yeah, Fnatic have 9 rounds, but really it's the T side that's more strategical, and that's where they definitely could fall down, unless they have a lot of players in mind. And we've just seen Dignitas have their way. They've been dictating the pace of the action, been playing aggressively on the CT side. So one of the reasons I love Overpass so much as a spectator. And config up on the boost will get the better of Dennis. So in every way, Dignitas are just getting the drop onto Fnatic one by one. And 3 very separate locations as well. You look at that, we had a player on B, there's now 1 connector, and the bomb was dropped long. So very much a spread out Fnatic.
That's the thing. I mean, Fnatic with this new lineup, again, across their map pool, they've looked like a more patient and slow team under Vinton's leadership compared to the past, and I feel like Dignitas is taking advantage of that. You know, they're spread out, they're playing really slow, and that's giving Dignitas so much breathing room to just push, right? I mean, Magic's Boy can push all the way up the Fountain because Fnatic are so held back towards like the back of the park that it just gives them so much space to work with, and they have no fear of taking that. Just like MSL, for example, has no fear taking control of short B because he knows that someone's just playing like really far back outside of Monster. So the Dignitas are really just kind of picking up the pace. They're taking what they're being given, and they're making these aggro plays that have made a world of difference. MSL has actually been instrumental in that, by the way. Even though he's -2 KD overall for the map, and he's not, you know, like the top fragger for his team, the amount of disturbances he has caused in the CT side, at least almost single-handedly won Dignitas 2 rounds. Like the one push he had in the smoke at middle on that first gun round where Fnatic ran out of time, and he like disrupted them and then slowed them down even more. And then Rubino follows up with 2 at long, and then that round where he pushes short B and gets early picks. And then, of course, Magic's Boy just had a big round right there where, yeah, he's 11-17, but again, he just won his team around by pushing Fountain and getting like 2 or 3 kills. So it's just Fnatic unable to deal with the aggression of Dignitas.
Yeah, it's all about the impact frags in that case. You know, I don't think stats are necessarily a fair representation of how someone's been playing, because even if you have 10-15 kills and, you know, sort of 20 deaths, if you've been getting a lot of the entry frags on the T side, you could have been the reason why your team ends up picking up the map overall. And speaking of entry frags, we've really seen not many from Fnatic. There's been 7 rounds on this second half, and Dignitas have picked all of them up. Fnatic led, if you just joined us, 9-6 at half time, and since then it's been very much a one-sided affair. Let's see if Fnatic, with their Tech 9s, can make a go of this over on B.
It's also crazy that most of these rounds Dignitas have survived with 3 or 4 members, right? So Fnac's not even really doing damage, or you're getting close to winning rounds. This is the other crazy part. And now Overpass big, just pushes through Monster and gets 2 kills. It's an even trade though, Fnatic, and they'll pick up a couple of guns. So this actually might be a decent scenario for them. One of the better ones it seems like they've had this game, where they actually have like a mid-round 3-on-3.
Yeah, and it all comes off the back of hyper-aggression, so that's maybe more Dignitas messing up a little bit, but will they get punished? 2 players on B, sees Cajun B's AWP on A by itself, a minute to play with, so a lot of time for Fnatic to play the mind games with Dig. And it seems so far Fnatic will just be holding firm, and that's not a huge surprise considering how we've seen them playing thus far. So definitely a slower paced team right now. But we've seen them before get the advantage and do nothing with it, so is it a case of maybe being too slow by Fnatic standards?
Certainly was the case a while back, but I think that they're just trying to play a 3-on-3. They're trying to figure out where the best opening's going to be. They're trying to go for B. This is actually where two members are at. A great crossfire here from Magic's Boy and Rubino. Now the bomb is down. It's all up to Olafmeister and Lekro. Again, they're running out of time, and they're getting picked apart before they can even push them into sight. They keep trading evenly, but Dignitas is already a man ahead, so they win the battle. And so now it's 14-9. Still, Fnatic have yet to find a single round on this terrorist side. And so Dignitas, they're about to win this one in a pretty big fashion, unless Fnatic can step up now. They will give Twist the op. So again, this is a team where I see it float between Olaf, Dennis, and Twist, and so they're going to give Twist a crack at it.
I mean, when you look at who's got the least frags on the entire server, it's Olafmeister. This is a guy that was widely revered as the best player in the world for quite some time. And yet
he definitely was at the end of last year.
Yeah, and he's bottom fragging with 9. He hasn't even hit double digits right now, so that's a very worrying sign for Fnatic. This boy's going to get the drop. How many players he's going to get? 2. Bomb's been dropped out as well, and MSL will have his back. So another trade firmly going the way of Dignitas. And now it's up to the man in question, Olaf, alongside Twist. 2 very talented players. But a 2v4 with Dignitas playing this solidly, it's just not boding well for the Swedes whatsoever. And again, they're split up. You got Twist, who's trying to peer out of Monster with his AWP. And in the meanwhile, Olafmeister's chilling in Connector. They still don't have control over the bomb, but judging by Dignitas' positions, they seem to think this could be an A hit. Although MSL's starting to move down towards Heaven. Actually, he's going to become a Graffiti side. Oh, Twist. How's your timing looking? MSL jumps over the bullet, channeling his inner Neo. Twist misses the first and the second shot. And he's going to get punished in the worst possible way. Being fragged by Config. Olafmeister's picked up the bomb, but 1v4 with 35 seconds.
It's not looking good, particularly because Olaf hasn't had the best of games, and now you're asking a lot out of him to try to pull off a 1v4 to prevent Dignitas from getting the map point, and I just don't think this is in the cards. I mean, he will actually get a 1v1 against Config at B, and so maybe he could actually get a plant and play a post plant 1-on-3. So there's that entry. No one's going to be there fast enough to stop him from planting, I don't think, but he's taking his time a little bit. Now it's giving Dignitas a chance to get in position, so now he has no chance, basically.
Yeah, no hope. If he went for that full plant, you'd have been hoping that MSL didn't get the spray from short side. He'd made a very brisk move from Connector. So, I mean, just absolutely no hope. Olaf hitting the 10 frag mark, but Lekro, Olaf, and Venton all on 10 kills. Dennis finished the first half on 21, on 27 now, so only the 6 in the second half, so definitely slowed down. And Dignitas going from strength to strength. They have looked almost untouchable on their CT side.
Yeah, and look at how confident Dignitas are. Again, they're just pushing 3 down A. Cajun B has already peeked fight with an op, didn't see anything, and fall back, and MSL still just pushing through Parks right now. Luckily, Olafmeister is able to wait back and catch him, so finally, maybe Dignitas actually overextended it a bit. And this is probably the best scenario Fnatic has been in. I can't think of it, maybe only one other round before this one where they've actually had like an instant 5-on-4. But then last time they still wound up losing the round, so what can they do this time around?
No, that's very true. We haven't seen Fnatic claim the first kill, get many entry frags on their T side. I think maybe once or twice at most. And they're going to get the second one on top of that. Conflict gets wrecked partially through the box on the B side. It's good for 1 frag, gets traded out. Fnatic have got to take this round to remain in the map. And surely a 4v2 with a post-plant situation is going to be theirs. And yeah, Dignitas, they have quite a bit of money on these two players, 9.8 and 8.6k, which of course will change after the rounds ended respectively, but they don't want to throw these weapons away. Olafmeister though, great read of the game, will meet Magic's Boy in bathrooms and get the better of him, leaving the AWP in the hands of Cajun B, all that remains. So Fnatic will at least get 1 round on their T half. Let's see if they can keep that going.
It's gonna take an awakening out of the other members of like the big fragging trio that you expect out of Fnatic, because to me, when I look at the lineup, I think, okay, I should be getting most of my frags from Olaf, Twist, and Dennis. Like that should be like the big trio. I know Electro's kind of on the rise. Maybe you see him chime in if someone of those 3 is having an off game, but you don't have Electro stepping up to fill in any of the gaps. And right now, it really is mostly Dennis, and Twist has started to get something going here a little bit. But Olaf's still awfully quiet, and so they're going to need a big resurgence out of their heavy hitters if they want to try to run this thing back in the overtime. because, I mean, they've only been able to find one round this entire half, and we've played a lot of rounds this half. Remember, Dignitas was down 6-9 when they came into this thing, so they went on a huge tear up until now, 9 rounds in a row, until that one finally came up for Fnatic. So can Fnatic convert that round one into a streak? Is going to be the big question. We do see Dignitas letting off the gas pedal a bit, right? Cajun B, Matchday playing pretty passive at A. MSL did push short out, though. Didn't spot anything, and will now quickly rotate to A, where it looks like Fnatic are going to be posturing up to start pushing middle here in a second. But they also might even convert into connector. They do have a presence there also.
I feel again, though, one of the worrying signs for Fnatic is that round didn't come off the back of some sick set play or some execute. It came off the back of just 2 or 3 entry frags through on B. So when Dignitas play a little bit more tight, when they play a little bit more passive, that's where Fnatic have been completely unable to break the shell, to crack that shell of Dignitas. So yes, it's a round, but I still definitely worry for Fnatic getting anything else out of this. And there we go. Matchday pushes up long, going to be smoking his way off so he can pull himself back to the A site, or indeed just hide in the smoke, and that plays a lot of mind games with Fnatic. Olofmeister will get the upper hand in that one-on-one trade, but now it's down to Benton, who's pushed onto the site. There's Molly landing all around Cajun B, and there's the double frag for Benton. Checks long. You know, Olofmeister is there, and the bomb gets planted. So Fnatic have a real shot at doubling their tally on the T side, but Config may have a couple of things to say about that. The first frag in this 3-on-2 goes the way of the Danes. They don't have any grenades, though, to play with, and this is where it's going to get really painful. You've got to feel for Dignitas. Config going for the opportunistic wall bank, hoping that a mistake is made, and there they go. They've actually picked up a smoke, so they're going to be diffusing this in amongst all the chaos. Benton comes through. First frag goes his way, and the second! He's keeping this alive for Fnatic, but just by a thread.
That was quite close for Venton, but he's able to find the right place to spam through the smoke and stop that diffuse from happening. So well done from Fnatic. That's now 2 rounds in a row for them, and the money is actually starting to run dry a bit here on the Dignitas side. They are able to have a couple of M4s in this round, but you also see 3 people on just P250s. And this kind of evens out their money, I guess, because there were 2 players that did have quite a lot of cash, and so they were able to kind of, you know, just keep them at around the same money levels even after the buy. So not too shabby. This will give them a fighting chance. And look at this Matchday continuing that aggression of Dignitas. Will be at stairs this time instead of long or fountain, and he gets another opening pick for his team. And how will Fnatic recover? Olofmeister, though, actually has really interesting positioning right now based on how Dignitas rotated, so...
Yeah, they did get the one kill connector, but this is... Oh, what?!
Later.
Matchday with 2 frags. I was about to say they get the connector frag, but surely that's it. And Cajun B is going to chime in with a frag. The 2 M4s have lit up this round. And Olofmeister must be scratching his head. Like, boys, what is happening? How the actual hell are we losing this round? 1v3 ahead of him, a lot of time to play with, and he has the bomb, so there are a couple of ticks for him, but man.
Just Matchday, man. He just pushes stairs, gets a kill, rotates over to B, stops the monster push, just doing it by himself. And I mean, Matchday actually had an awfully quiet game for the most of this game. I think at one point he was 11-17, now he's 21-19. So he really picked up the pace on the CT side. Kind of started working up there closer towards Config, who's had a brilliant game, 33 kills. Top fragger in the server, so... It looks like it's all but over unless Olaf can come up big, but Rubino just catches Olaf out the corner of his eye. No black bars for that guy. He was able to spot him and put the game away. So, I mean, I guess it's a somewhat close scoreline, right? What is it, like 16-11, I think is how we ended that. But it seems so much more one-sided than that, especially that second half.
Well, yeah, it definitely was more one-sided than that when you consider that going into the